our children so they can't compete. See, John Hanson, a man of Moorish descent, right, was the first president for the United States of North America after the adoption of the Republican form of government under the jurisdiction of what was originally called the Congress of the Confederation. Confederation operated and administered over the United States from March the 1st, 1781 AD until March 4th, 1789 AD. Second president, Richard Henry Lee. Third president, Elias Boudinot. Fourth president, Thomas Mifflin. Fifth president, John Hancock. Sixth president, Nathaniel Gorham. Seventh president, Arthur St. Clair. That's when the treaty was drafted. Eighth president, Cyrus Griffin. Ninth president, George Washington. You see, this is history that's held from you.
Where can we get a copy of that?
You've got it covered. I'll get to you as quickly as possible. So we get
Because you got a flash drive. You've got a flash drive. You can get it right now.
No, that's another thing. I'm gonna borrow some flash drives.
You never come here without a flash drive. You know we always
when I come
that.
back, I'm gonna have 5 of them and leave them here.
Did we put that on our friends?
You think I'm playing?
Did we get that?
No, I'm taking serious, bro.
That young man don't have
You already got
a
this
on the book out
the
one.
handbook,
Oh,
the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and Constitution. Yeah, you
I have never saw that in my life.
No.
I'm 59 years old.
But listen, the point that we're making is, now back to the allodial title. Your heirship is based in you having already known this. See, so once you understand this, why are you trying to convince them? You need to convince you and your family. We're the ones out to lunch. We're gonna let them know that who we are and we have. What do you mean?
They already know. They already know.
You're the only. It's like this. We've been in the cave. Come out. Damn, it's the sun. We got to tell everybody the sunshine. Get out there. Hey, look, man. Look. See that? That's the sun. No, you don't believe me. Look out. Why do you think I got my shades on? We've been out here all day picnicking. Man, you out to lunch.
Wow.
You see why they declare our people incompetent?
Yeah.
Because we just can't accept that we've been played. We can't believe that we found out something and nobody knows this. This is whoo. No, we've been asleep. No shame in it. The shame is when you're in denial. The shame is when we haven't taken responsibility to our babies and our families. The shame is when we play dumb like this is religion and this is the truth of your history. The shame is when we spend all our fiat and our finances with organizations to deal with the symptoms of the problem of our lack of recognizing this in the first instance, which is the solution. Because the problems exist because the foundation is false. And you can't keep putting pills on the problem and think you're solving anything, so stop faking it. Oh no, but this is like spiritual. No, they're full of doo-doo. And once you give people the facts, they will see it. This is why people don't want this information out, because institutions will collapse, because they've been smoking people's brains because the people don't have a reference point. But once the people have a reference point, they'll see, dang, we're already into this stuff. What the hell is wrong with us? We're behind the times and trying to act like we want to get ready to invest. See, what we got to do is get our people to invest in saddles, with the Moroccan leather. No, I don't think you should be investing in saddles right now. Not that it wouldn't be nice to have one. Yeah, but man, we got this saddle stock, man. I don't think you should buy saddle stock. Do you understand? And this is kind of like where we are. We're trying to solidify a catch-up zone that we're quickly going to pass. What we need to do is kind of back off, cool out, and start taking somewhat an observer position while we're traveling.
Observer what?
Observer, because what's happening is if we try to stabilize, we're already behind time. We need to catch up. It doesn't when I say observer, it's sort of like, oh, now that you discovered they got caught, oh man, I'm gonna save all my finance, man, because I'm getting me this Model T. Oh, it's cool, but chill out and ride your bike for a minute. Get your head together, come off the honeymoon. Yeah, man, but I gotta get this Model T, man, because everybody got one. No, they got Crown Vics, and they moved beyond that. No, man, but why people need their own Model Ts? No, they don't need their own Model Ts. And it's kind of chill out and observe. Learn. Reduce your material desires so that you can catch up. Because any weight you take on right now must be shortly shedded. You don't know that right now. And it doesn't mean that you don't respect the material things, but understand, if you really understand what's really going on, you will not invest in a lot of material things. What they're trying to do is offload dead stuff because the technology is going to change, stuff's going to come out so quick, the shit's going to, excuse my expression, language, obsolete.
Yep.
And you're going to have to catch up anyway. And you're not going to compete until you start. So let's get real. It doesn't mean deny yourself. You ain't got to be a monk, but simplify your life. Because if you don't worry about it. It's going to be forcefully simplified anyway. Now, you can do it willingly, or you can get the lesson, which everybody's going to get right now. So what you're having is a shift, paradigm shift. That means everything that people have rooted themselves in is going to be unartfully dislodged. But if you're an observer, you can kind of use things as they go, honor them, and not attach. Because this time is a transition for humanity. Whereas before, you looked at your individual charts, and you made a guide yourself accordingly. In the Aquarian age, it's a bigger broom. The charts individual count, but not so much the way people think they do. And humanity is being moved in a large shift, and those who don't acknowledge the light simply will become fertilizer.
Right.
That's how it's going to work. It's how it's working. So if you're told how things work ahead of time, that allows you to make adjustments and overcome your lower self because you already know what the outcome is. That's what prophecy's for. To give you some encouragement to use your willpower to overcome the carnal self in order to stabilize yourself. Meaning that you can be satisfied with that bag of chips and still having lobster Newburg for the moment.
But even with all that, we do have to understand that we are, this flesh is living at this time period of the...
We're in the period of transition.
That's right, from the Pisces
like
to
Dr.
the
Nyla
age of
always
Aquarius.
said, we are spirit beings,
That's right.
divine beings having a human experience.
At
That's
this time,
not
though.
false. That's absolutely true. But it's always been that way. What has not been is people being taught the true Kabbalistic nature of their existence. And therefore, the priesthood has caused the people to, in their minds, separate themselves.
Right.
And disrespect the physical realm as also misusing it. And they become out of balance. And then the priesthood, with their greed,
Which is what Zing did, was showing how the divine masculine, which is light, and the divine feminine, which is life, and the divine child, with his love, which is a higher
this is the
self,
principle right here.
to come together in what we...
This is the principle of Moorish obligation. That's the principle of Moorish obligation, not marriage. Moorish obligation, the matrimony, the divine matrimony. And of course that will be encircled also with the chart. See, so you have to give it all. You give this, and then you do the chart. See, so you have the chart of the male and the female, to see whether or not they're harmonious divinely, and this is the basis
So
upon
then
which,
be balanced when it
this is the basis upon which, all right, so you come and you checking out our daughter, and you're impressed with her, she's impressed with you, right? And so y'all think you love each other, not that you don't. So now y'all want to fast track, and then we say, no, you gotta go talk to the mother and father. No, they're checking out my resume. Yes, they're checking out your chart. And vice versa. And then based on that, and based on other issues, we determine whether or not we're going to sanction that matrimony. It ain't about carnal. It's about, because they dealt with divine law. That's what that was really about. And when we start turning away from divine law principles, that's when you got all this broken family. There's no respect in relationship. It's only because it's only carnal. It doesn't rise above that. And as a matter of fact, anybody put any character in it, they're going to get beat the hell up. And then they wonder what's wrong. That's why everybody's jaded. We're living dogma instead of true religion. And then we get caught in forever searching for the elusive butterfly because we're out of harmony. But we don't want the parents to arrange marriages because, but it ain't marriage, because marriage is actually set up by the priesthood. It's actually matrimony. Marriage is actually taking the lower energy of Mars, you're in the center, and they add rage to it. And they mix it, and then the barristers wait for the spoils, and they take the estate. That's why the marriage certificate is filed in the Department of Orphans, because they already know the children are already declared as orphans. It's like high priesthood. The same goody gaudy guys that people keep thinking is so loving. The people, if they really knew the truth, but they don't want the truth. They love the darkness, but they don't like the pain that comes with it. And then they start a whole bunch of organizations to deal with the symptoms. That's what makes it interesting. They will spend energy, time, finance, starting organizations to deal with the symptoms because they don't want to deal with the root of the problem. That's fine. When they get tired, that's why I said the truth comes from the mouth of babes. What does it mean? It's because they're less compromised. They ain't worried about their... This is why this is so important for people. Dr. Nail,
Yes.
do a thing on this. You know, I'll just leave this with you and do a thing on this. Your natural analysis. And I don't even have to go further with it. I'll leave that there. And when the people understand what that message is in the book, and what they're experiencing right now, and their economic, carnal desires, their wants, what they thought they accumulated, and then he comes, takes it, and they're looking for a job. They don't even understand what's really going on. They do, but they're in denial. They don't even know what the message really is in the book. Because it's about their jobs. Mm-hmm. It's just it's called Job. And he's taking everything from them because they cursed their God.
And they won't,
do you understand?
And they also have, bought into the deception so that when they begin to think or create or manifest, they manifest based on fear.
Exactly, and the vampires
and
feed on the fear.
And the thing that they fear the most comes upon them.
Because they bring it on themselves, and what? They're creators and makers of their own. Now,
do all preachers and whoever goes to like this seminaries and all that, are they taught all this?
No.
No, the different degrees, not directly. It's never taught directly. It's never taught directly. Meaning that this is what occurs. Over 50% belong to secret society, not admitted. They're either Eastern Stars or Masons, right? So they get the degrees. When they go to ecclesiastical or seminary colleges, by default, they must study religion, and as soon as they do, they'll find the Kabbalistic basis of all of them, which still leads them back to the same fundamental truth that we're talking about. So they'll learn about Serapis, they'll learn about the alterations of the book, they'll learn about King James, they'll learn about the Vulgates, the 136 translations,
Wow.
the translation out of the Book of the Dead, the Septuaginta, etc. So, yes, they learn. It's available to them. Some get it direct, some by default. But when you take the position that they don't know, you're fooling you, and you're excusing their corruption. It is not unlike, all right, like saying, all right, I'm a contractor or a builder. I do everything, I'm a house doctor, right? So I came over to Dee's house to help her with her tile, with her tub, right? I've seen so much other stuff, these contractors, city contractors, other contractors, they didn't come and screw our house up, electrical and everything. And we've been tapping stuff, fixing stuff ever since. You know what I'm saying? Because I have the knowledge. However, the point of it is, anybody that's in any particular discipline, if they're involved sincerely in any discipline, they learn things by default. There's no such thing as somebody making finance, teaching the Quran and the Bible and stuff, and for years and talking about God, Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, etc., and then pretend to the masses they don't know the origin of this stuff.
By default, they're learning.
You get it by default. Nobody comes a carpenter and he only does sheetrock and don't notice that there's wires in the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were wires in the wall.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I was just banging on the floor. I had no idea that they put plumbing in the floors. You know, the nail went through a pipe. Yes, he was careless. But I didn't know. Stop. You know, we keep making excuses for people that when people take it upon themselves to take people's energies, that's their finances, and propagate positions, they are responsible. They put a sign out there talking about their surgeons, and they're charging people, and people been coming in and say, well, we noticed that your scalpels are really butter knives and they're all rusty. Well, I know about the body and everything. I've been a surgeon for so you don't know nothing about scalpels. We ain't into that. You make that excuse to people who keep buying that BS. And this is why things so messed up, because people keep excusing people in positions of authority like they don't know they're injuring people. But they always get wealthy now, but they don't know that they're injuring people. Stop. We need to stop.
It's like people are waking up. It's just that.
Yeah, people are waking up. So now let's look at what you just said. People are waking up. What does that really represent?
But when I say waking up, I don't mean they're fully awake, because you could be in a state of coming out of a deep sleep. And so what I see is there is a sort of an agitation
Yes.
in the air for people that they've been stirred up to know that, wait a minute, what used to feel good and right doesn't feel good and right anymore. I don't know what is right, I just know that this isn't right.
Exactly.
And so, but mostly I see them electing to stay within the realms.
Those paradigms.
Right, in those paradigms, because they have become social mediums. They have
Socialized. It's called social engineering.
Right. So so for me, like for instance, tomorrow Sunday, I'll be on television for an hour, and there are so many people that watch me and tell me later on that are in various religious dogmata, and they'll say, saw you on TV. Somebody told me yesterday they saw me, and I thought, because they show reruns, but they saw you on TV, like your show, but they will never walk in here because they don't want to be seen. And I'm thinking, well, you could come anytime right here at 602 and get, whatever it is we're giving, but they'd rather sit home secretly and watch me on Channel 28.
Now, what is that called? This is what it's called.
I call them my
It's
Nickies.
called hypocrisy.
Look,
Hypocrisy.
at home watching you in secret.
That cover my Nickies.
You understand?
You know, my
And we need to
Nicki
just accept hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy.
It's hypocrisy. And that's what I'm saying, but that's what it is. I don't know how many times church folks come to
And
me and
before
say,
they would
enjoyed
admit
you.
their hypocrisy, they would sacrifice their character to other people.
And they done it.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And then talk
say that
about Lord and love.
Say that again.
They're full of doo-doo, and we need to call them out on it. You know what I mean? And particularly when they start critiquing or go out of their way to criticize people that stand for the truth, or try to discredit people who are standing for the truth because they don't have the courage to. Then they attack people who put their necks out on the line for even their interest, which means they want to serve Rome. Ooh. That's who they're
Yeah, but
mastering.
it's, like I said, it supports their notion that there is something else, but like I said, they're not willing to
Take
shift.
responsibility.
Take a full shift, they rap, like I said, yeah.
The ones that's become enlightened, and I seen little groups selling them back into slavery. When you sit and you read that thing, you know what you're
That's what
doing.
Raleigh said, be careful more, some of your own people wearing turbans and
I was
feathers will be
reading
trying to sell
something
you back
today. I
into
was
slavery.
listening to a guy and he showed something. They're getting their name on their license, change it, correct your name, and then put it on the birth certificate. We'll put it on the birth certificate, the license, and the something. And I'm reading this here, and I'm saying, man, I came back to Philadelphia, and they ain't
But
stopped
anyway.
that thing. Oh my goodness.
It's like
So-
we do in church, we leave a church, and then say, God told me to leave, start a new church, new ministry, and drag everything from the one you left into the new one. And the question is, well, what the heck you leave for? You might as well just stay over there. You just try, you know what I mean? Because you're doing over here what they were doing over there.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
In other words, truth has no building.
No,
Truth has no
and
name
no membership.
of religion. Exactly.
No name of religion.
No, as a matter of fact,
That's right.
Has no name or
truth is universal. And this is when it says, even when it's talking about religions in general loosely, true philosophers say, well, all religions lead back to Abraham. All of the paths lead back to Abraham. But then they don't tell the truth, that Abraham is symbolic of the light in the head, or what's called the Christ degree.
I bet you can hook that U-Box up to that.
Huh?
I could hook it up to that.
Yeah, you can.
Do you have a tuner in there? No, I was just wondering if there's a TV tuner in there.
I might go.
Yeah.
You
I
think,
think,
tomorrow, you come to class
Yeah,
tomorrow?
I'm coming to class.
Out here.
We'll try it one day.
yeah, I'll see, I got one, we'll see what mine does.
Couple months.
Yeah.
Goodly goo.
He's your grandson?
This is my nephew.
You know,
I said my knees,
but
my
now,
knees.
and understanding, and I want you to understand this, hypothecation is where they create documents without your knowledge and then claim your property and then put it on the stock market. Do you understand? That's what hypothecation means. And so people's property, their labors, all nonprofit organizations are hypothecated. That's why we need people to look at the congressional records so that they can, you know, stop thinking that we're talking conspiracy theory. You know, and so the deal is, we know that a lot of people, it takes time for people to dawn on them, and by the time they decide to get active, their stuff is liquidated. That's why we have to do some work for them. And then show them, and then get, because they gotta be something motivated, because every man, woman, and child must confess their own, because you can't confess for them. Because they're gonna be sacrificed. They don't know that they are. And age, they're not gonna be excused. And the European wants them out of here because that means that's another part of the state that they don't have to transfer. So they're trying to kill off the creditors. This is what all this biological warfare and stuff is really all about. And the people are messing around. They think this stuff is a joke. This man intends to eliminate them.
Yeah, they put it
And
on
where
there.
they're looking, that they think they're going to get a Job, and what they're going to get is a FEMA camp.
So, hey, so this wealth, this currency transfer and all that, Todd,
No,
what's up with all that?
No, that's what you see.
If you feel it, do it.
What you see is The rest of the civilized world dumped in the UST bond.
If you feel it,
That's what the reset is. The
Okay.
reset is
what the person.
that the rest of the civilized world is enforcing the American Constitution, Article 1, Section 10. The reset is going back to the gold standard.
Yes.
sir.
To
Asset
come
back.
off the fiat of the
Yeah.
Pope that has destroyed the world. Just like Amshel Rothschild said, he said, give me the control of any nation's money, and I care not who makes their laws. That's an admission that they were setting up a cabal.
Yep.
And the CEO, remember the CEO.
Not even a
the
secret.
CEO of the Interior Department.